Welcome to the Unlimited You Show's Food for the Soul Fridays with your hosts, Waukesha Green and Audra Walker. This show is designed to help you heal, break through, and break forth. We are also here to encourage you to go beyond your limitations and design the life God has planned specifically for you. We will be sharing some kingdom principles and strategies that you can take and apply to your daily lives. It's time to be healed. It's time to be whole. It's time to be free. And it's time to live your best life right now. So with that being said, we are super excited to have each and every one of you join us as we dive into a very responsible, transparent, real, and fun conversation that's impacting lives across the globe on Food for the Soul Fridays. Now let's talk about it.
Hey, hey, hey.
So I'm muted. Hey, sis.
You do that all the time. I'm like,
girl, I'm like,
can't hear you, boo.
I said, what's up? Oh, you good?
I'm good. Are you good? You always muted.
Yes, honey. Look, you know, I always be muting some junk. So I make sure you know what, y'all? I do the back end work on everything. Okay. So this what I'm doing. So I had to remember to unmute myself so y'all can hear me. Okay, but sis, how you doing tonight, baby? Let me say,
I'm good, girl. I'm good. How are you, beautiful?
I'm good, honey. You know, I was taken out of my element today. I had to go into the office and work. So
like the rest of us. I'm glad you did. You get to taste what we feel.
I'm trying to tell you. Shoot, but sis, look, let me tell you something. I want to say hello and acknowledge who all we have on here. Who do we have joining us tonight? Y'all remember, say hello. And I'm going to pull up my ministry page real quick, just so I can make sure that I don't miss anyone. You guys, you know how we do. There we go. Let me see. Okay. So I think I got that, so I can actually see who's on there, who will be coming on there. But so who is this? Somebody we see some claps, but we don't know who it is. You got to introduce yourself. It's a Facebook user. Who do we have joining us tonight? You know, you guys are in for a treat tonight. We have awesome conversation that's gonna go forth. Sis, I'm super excited about this conversation because you know we're loving our love and relationship series that we're in right now, and so it's just necessary, you know, for us to talk about love, relationships. Tonight is going to be a very impactful conversation. We got special guests. Two of our men are supposed to be joining us tonight, but one of them, I think you said he'll slip in kind of late.
Yeah, one had emergency and one is having technical difficulties. But guess what? The devil is a lie. We will get them on and we will have this conversation.
I know that's right. I think my brother, I think he good. So we're gonna talk tonight. We're talking about this awesome conversation that we're gonna bring forth to you guys. And you know, we've been talking about this love series, but tonight we're gonna talk about what men and women want in a relationship. But before we go forward, sis, I want to go on ahead and bring my brother, Cedric Stowers, on to join us tonight. Come on in, bro.
What's up? Hey, can y'all hear me all right?
We can hear you.
Loud.
Okay, I'm going to take one out and see how it works with one. I'm going to just take one of these out real quick. Hold on. How about now? Y'all still got me?
Yep, we still got you.
Okay, good. Yeah. I need to be able to hear myself because, you know, I might get loud. People in the hotel.
Well, yeah, since you put that little piece at the end of people at the hotel, because I was like, we loud all the time, so you fit right on in.
Already.
I'm with it. Hold on, let me give y'all some light so y'all can see it, brother. Hold up.
Okay. So y'all can see it, brother. Okay.
Yeah, that's good right there. Y'all good? We good? Oh no, that's wash me out, man. I don't want to be washed out.
Yeah, we want to wash you out now.
We good.
Shoot.
Yeah, we good.
Who's that?
Yeah,
Your favorite
we
daughter? Oh.
Andrea.
Oh, I see you, baby. I see you. Okay, baby girl on. She didn't join us. She said your favorite daughter. My only daughter, really?
Your brother will be on in a minute.
I see him in the background. All right. Said, how are you, my dear?
Girl, I'm doing good. I can't complain.
I know that's right. I know that's right.
Yeah. Better yet, I won't complain. How about that?
Say it.
Yes, even better.
You better say that thing now. You better get on, don't complain already.
Hey, sissy.
Yeah, I got somebody crash. Look. They try to crash the party to make sure I don't get out of pocket.
Oh, that's okay. Cause sissy, while you over there in the background, you better get ready. You will be on soon.
I got a whole handler. You hear me?
Right.
Yeah. She done powdered my nose and everything. Hold on, let me do it again.
Oh yeah. A mess.
Well, y'all see what y'all in for, right?
Yeah. Look, y'all.
We'll see.
Already. And so tonight we're gonna have just an awesome conversation. There is a scripture, the passage of scripture that I will read, but tonight we're going to be discussing this topic, what men and women want in a relationship. But I'm going to open us up with the passage of scripture so we can kind of dialogue, and then we'll have this discussion. Trying to give a few minutes for my other brother to come on and join us. He's going to be getting on here in just a minute. But Cedric, I want you to just introduce you to our listeners. Who is Cedric Stowers?
Oh my goodness.
Come on with it.
Listen. Well, like she said, my name is Cedric Stowers. Who am I? I don't know. That's kind of a loaded question. I'm perfectly imperfect. How about that?
Yeah.
So and been married for 28 years, and working on our 29th year. As far as what we would be looking for in a relationship, I can't wait to get into that because it is kind of a loaded thing to talk about as well. Right. I am also a PK, so I'm a child of a preacher. I was born in Anderson, South Carolina, raised up in the Word, and decided to kind of make my own path in this world, and still working to be the best version of myself that I can be. I am a business owner. I own a company called Innovative Sounds, which is a DJ company. We're trying to actually get this thing established here in the South Carolina, Georgia, Florida area. We do travel. So Colorado Springs, as long as it's on the United States map, we can get there. You feel me? As long as they make roads and airplanes and trains, we're going to get there.
All right. So,
now. That's what we're establishing right now. And, just living life day to day, trying to maintain this thing called life.
Amen, brother. Amen.
That's right. Well, we were super excited, honey. And I knew that you were truly one of the ones that I wanted to, and God wanted, because I prayed and asked, before we bring anybody on to the podcast, to have these conversations, I pray and ask God who, and going through these different topics. And I was like, who, Father? And I knew it right off top. And I was like, okay, I need to reach out to my brother. Because this is a conversation that he needs, somebody can receive from you, and from our brother, Jeremiah, Audra's husband, will be joining us as well. So we're going to have this grown, mature conversation about what men and women want. So first of all, we want to say thank you.
Yes, thank you for accepting.
Yeah.
Listen, when she told me she was going to have me on, and she told me, I said, uh-oh.
Yep. Well, look, now, with that being said, we don't want you to hold back. No. We want you to be real and authentic. I mean, just let them have it.
Already.
It's all good. It's all good.
So, yes, thank you for.
Did you email him the link? He said he don't have the link.
I did. Tell him I emailed it to him. And it's in yours, too. So, send it. You can send it to him.
Give me 1 second, guys. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Bring this a little closer because I'm still kind of.
I'll do it. Just you're right. I can help you. Hold up.
This thing ain't got no levels to it, does it?
I don't think so.
So y'all
see how theirs is all nice and bright. There we go. That's better.
There we go. That's better.
That's better. Yeah, you know, have me up in here looking some type of way.
Look, you got that light bright behind you shining too,
Yeah,
not just that
listen,
light.
I had to do that. You know what I'm talking
Light
about?
bright shining.
Yeah, I might have to have her stand behind me. You know what I mean? Get some contrast going. I chose the wrong shirt for the night's conversation.
Oh my Lord. Yeah, but you do look better, honey. Yep, that's way better.
Yeah, man. What's going on out here in these streets?
It's hard out here in these streets.
Well, even without the light, we still seen you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like us down south country, we still seen you.
We seen you.
Yeah, I'm with it.
Did he get it, sis?
I guess we're gonna see when he log on, huh?
Okay.
I resent it.
Okay. So y'all bear with us for just a few moments. Look, we got one more coming in. But sis, I mean, with this, because you know we've been talking about our love and relationship series. So anything that you want to open us up with while we wait on Jeremiah to come in to kick us off.
Girl, no, I'm just ready to get into the topic itself because I've been waiting for this one. I've been waiting for this one here. Okay.
Yes.
I don't know. Let me get some water real quick.
Is you getting nervous over there, brother?
Hold up. I don't care. It don't have to be cold. Just gotta be wet. You feel me?
Look, I got mine too while you're playing. Mm-hmm.
She was like, TD Jakes, get ready, get ready, get ready. I'm like, wait a minute.
Okay, I've been waiting for this. I'm ready to dive in.
Yes. All right. I think we got bruh coming in. Come on in the room. Hey, bruh.
Babe, I'm gonna need you to get some light.
Yeah, we can't hear you, honey.
We can't hear you, can't see ya.
What you want me to do?
Oh, there you go,
bro. Okay,
there
we got
you.
Just stay like that. Come on.
Yeah, you good, bro?
Trying to say I'm dark or something?
Bruh, you see what I got behind me, don't you? You see that, right?
Hold on, man. Let me,
bruh.
I'm gonna open up some light beam. Let's see if that help.
Yeah, man. They made me get a whole doggone lamp.
Is that gooder?
That's gooder.
That's gooder.
Okay, all right.
That's gooder. Oh, well, look at that. Praise the Lord. We all on here, bro. How you doing tonight?
Fresh off the streets.
Look, first said talking about it's hard out in the streets. You talking about fresh off the streets.
Fresh off
really
the
going
streets.
on.
5 minutes and counting.
So y'all see what y'all in for tonight.
Already. Look,
you asked for this.
Struggling. But look, bro, thank you. And you know, everybody don't know you. Jeremiah, can you introduce yourself to our listeners as well before we open up this conversation?
All righty then. I go by quite a few names. I go by Jeremiah, my government name. I go by J. For those who know me, it'd be cool with me. I go by Pastor J. For those on the spiritual link. I go by Master Sergeant, First Sergeant, retired J. I'm all kind of people. I'm married to this beautiful woman from my perspective in my upper right-hand corner, my wife, Audra. Up here in this left-hand corner on my screen is my spiritual sister and blood sister, Keisha. And my man, I'm just not meeting you for the first time, but you're not my brother.
Nice to meet you, bro. Look, the virtual shake, man. Yeah, that virtual handshake.
This not your first time meeting Cedric. They came to the house. Remember him and Danielle?
It was a minute ago though. You know,
I got short-term memory. You know, I got short-term memory.
It was a while back, man.
All right, man. It's good to meet you again.
That is.
Matter of fact, it was 2015. It was right before we moved away.
Oh, Jesus.
So that was that was a while ago.
Yeah,
so,
I can't remember 15 minutes ago.
Is that when we met? Okay. Yeah. I stand corrected. 2018.
Okay.
When was it, bro?
2018.
2018.
Yeah. Bunny said it was when we came back to do that wedding in 2018.
Yeah, it was.
Yes. Sure
Okay.
Yeah,
was.
that's when we stopped.
All
See,
right.
Sure was.
see, I got a handler, man.
I hear you,
Look,
brother.
she got you.
Yeah, yeah. Like what?
So look, y'all, super excited to have y'all tonight. I think this is a very grown, responsible topic that we're gonna talk about tonight. What men and women want. And I just kind of broke that down, but what do we want in a relationship? Because we need to help some people out tonight. And we wanted to get y'all on here. So from a man's perspective, so we can because it's many people that are struggling, right, sis? There's many people that are struggling in with love and
Yes.
understanding that, this is not, relationships are serious, and we need to have healthy relationships. And so, how do we attain those when we first need to be healthy ourselves? So,
Mm,
that's what we kind of been talking about as far as, we love ourselves so that we can better love others. So, when we love ourselves, we can, and love God, we can love others the way that we desire. So, and the way He desires for us to love. But I do want to open us up with this passage of scripture, you guys. Ephesians 5 22 through 33. And I'm going to, sis, do you want to read it, babe? You got it up? Okay, I got you. So I'm going to read it, and then we're going to kind of base our conversation around this word. That's what we do. So 22, wives, submit to your own husbands as to the Lord. For the husband is head of the wife, and also Christ is head of the church, and he is the savior of the body. 24, therefore, just as the church is subject to Christ, so let the wives be to their own husbands in everything. 25, husbands, love your wives, just as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for her, that he might sanctify and cleanse her with the washing of water by the word. Woo, one more again. 26, that he might sanctify and cleanse her with the washing of water by the word. 27, then he might present her to himself a glorious church, not having spot or wrinkle or any such thing, but that she should be holy and without blemish. So husbands ought to love their own wives as their own bodies. He who loves his wife loves himself. For no one ever hated his own flesh, but nourishes and cherishes it, just as the Lord does the church. For we are members of his body, of his flesh, and of his bone. For this reason, a man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. This is a great mystery, but I speak concerning Christ and the church. Nevertheless, let each one of you in particular so love his own wife as himself, and let the wife see that she respects her husband. Let's talk about it. Sis, open it. Go ahead.
We're gonna let the guests go. So, what do you guys think about that passage?
Yes.
All right, man. What we gonna do? Draw straws.
No, either one. Y'all come on
Hey,
with
man,
it.
if
Let's
something
talk
came
about
to
it.
you while she was reading it, man, go ahead and speak on it. You know what I mean? I don't.
I'm gonna tell you the same
See.
thing.
All right. Well, I'll tell you just that. Yeah, I'm gonna start with the first one
Okay.
because the word submit a lot of times. Well, there's a couple of things that people forget about when it says, wives submit yourselves to your husbands, but then they fail to go and read a little bit further where it says submitting yourselves one to another, right?
Right.
And I think that's the huge piece that a lot of guys might miss, and a lot of young ladies might get caught up on the word submit. I had this conversation with a few different people about just relationships in general, but most recently my son, because I told him I feel bad for him within this particular generation because a lot of times it gets lost as far as how to build a relationship, because the narrative is strong, independent. I don't need a man for anything. I got my own bag. I got this. I can do that. I can get it by myself. He's got to have this. He's got to have that. He's got to already be set this way. And then when I come along, I don't have to I shouldn't have to do this. I shouldn't have to do that. All I have to do is look pretty, stay pretty, and do this, because he should already have himself together. And I'm not saying that just from the woman's perspective, because there's a lot of gentlemen that think the same way. She's got to be this, she's got to be that. But they're forgetting to have that conversational piece about, again, the topic that we're having tonight. What do we want in this relationship, and how do we build towards that? And it comes with being able to submit. What does that mean? To me, it means knowing that my wife was an individual and a person before I met her. Before we became husband and wife, she had things that she liked to do. She had ways that she liked to operate. And I had to submit myself to knowing how she operated, and vice versa. I had certain ways that I had, like to operate, things that I like to do. Then once we got that on the table, we were able to compromise. That's that submitting to one another. So another word that I like to look at in regard to that is compromise.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a huge part of just one of the pieces of what men and women want in a relationship. It's going to have to be compromise, and then slowly but shortly behind that, it's going to have to be collaboration. It's got to be.
Yeah.
It's got to be in order for it to work. And I listen to a lot of different things, and I think that's a piece that oftentimes get missed. I mean, I'm raising and have raised two young men, one of which just went on his own journey into Texas, and then I got one more son at home. I have another one in Phoenix, and so this is not a foreign conversation for us at all.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think. Oh, go ahead, sis.
No, I was just gonna touch on that for just a moment. I love that you said first submit, and that's submit to one another, and in the submitting to one another, we have to compromise. It's not just your way. It is not just my way. We have to we have to find a medium to where we can compromise and we can work through some things. And then you said collaboration. Okay, now that we have come to this medium where we're compromising, we working together, we're going to collab. So now how can we move forward in our, this relationship, So I love that. I appreciate you saying that. So y'all listen to that. Submit, compromise, and collaborate. Collaboration is key. Go ahead, bruh.
So I think he hit it right on the head. And so we got two different vantage points here, my man, because you got all sons. I got all girls. So
I'll pray for you.
Hey, man, a lot of people have. It ain't changed nothing, man.
I see her face.
Right.
So keep praying for a brother. That's why they make Beijing die, man. That's why they make it. But,
Cocoa bean.
Midnight cocoa bean, like Mike Lowry say.
Cocoa bean.
I cannot.
But anyway, back to the topic. So I have raised 3 daughters, and I have a 9-year-old now. And the vantage point that you spoke of as young men, you're raising them up to, they don't have to feel like they got to come with their best face on in order to impress a young lady or get some. I mean, don't get me wrong, they do have to come to the table as with something, because as a dad of daughters, I'm trying to raise my girls, or have raised my girls, and raising my daughter now, that you have to be strong and you have to be somewhat independent, but at the same token, you have to allow a young man to be a young man, that he can come to you and he doesn't feel all the pressure of having to be a superstar. I'm not saying be a dud or nothing like that, but he can't come in there, just yo, hey, it's gonna be this, it's gonna be that, And another thing that you touched on, I like when you said the collaboration, the compromise, and I forget the other word, forgive me. But another piece of that is the individuality, because you both came into this, you were 2 different individuals, okay, and you had to learn how to coexist, as they say. So when you say collaboration, sometimes we go into relationships, or Experience has taught us that I can shape them or I can mold them the way I want them to be. They're going to do this or fall in line with what I say or what I want. And that's the wrong idea, because like I said, you're two individual people. And part of that compromise is you have to still allow each other to be who they originally are. Because if they just try to conform to who you are, then you lose something. You lose something when you think you found something. And then it might not show its head right then, but somewhere down the line, it's gonna come back up. And when it come back up, it's not gonna be a pretty sight.
Right.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah. I love that individuality. And both of y'all touched on that. And I love that because even for women, you know, when we're thinking about, you know, because truth of the matter is I'm a single woman. When we date with the intent to marry. We just don't nonchalantly just date people. You know what I'm saying? Just, well, we just gonna be here in this relationship forever. For what? What? No, that's not how we rolling. But understanding that I think we ourselves have to understand who we are as an individual first to even be able to bring to that into a relationship, you know, and that is so key, you individuality. But y'all touch on this. If that person don't know who they are, how would you respond to that? And, you know, somebody trying to pursue you.
Listen, I promise you, we just drove roughly 8 hours from Carolina to Pensacola, Florida. So, you know, there's a lot of windshield time to have conversations and heart to hearts. And we talked about, you know, again, I've been in this thing for 28 years, right? And been through all kinds of ups, downs, trials, tribulations. And, you know, no one ever discusses, you know, the for better or worse and what that means. Your worst might not be nothing to me. My worst might not be nothing to you. You know, your better may not be nothing to me, and my better might not be, you know, it's all kind of relative, right? But that part about not knowing who you were, we talked about that because, you know, neither one of us prior to being married, I think my wife had always talked about what she wanted in a husband. She wanted him to be this way or whatever, and she wanted him to be kind and this. But at age, 19? Who are you at age 19? The age you are now, you're not even that same person anymore. So I was 21. Who am I at 21? Definitely not the same person that I am now. So how do you respond to that? Once we established the fact that we were going to be in a relationship, because we started as a relationship is not just something that's intimate. It can be friendships and whatever, but we started out legitimately as friends. I didn't even see her in the same way that I saw other young ladies when we were in the military. I didn't see her the same way. There were certain ways. I never approached a lady with disrespect, but I just knew, don't even try it. Because seriously, because the whole vibe that I was receiving wasn't that same kind of energy that I might have received around others. So once we legitimately established a relationship, got married, is when we both found out she didn't really know who she was, and I didn't know who I was. She was trying to be her mother. I was trying to be somebody that I wanted to be when I was in high school.
Right.
She was trying to emulate how her mom ran her household. She had to grow into her own woman. I had to grow into my own man. And we both dealt with those growing pains. That's why that compromise and collaboration piece is very important. I'll throw another one in there. And it's the one that everybody always uses, right? Communication. But what is communication? What, you know, is it just talking? You have to listen with the intent to understand.
Say it again.
Rather than listening with the intent to respond. So if I'm listening to you, but the whole time I'm thinking about a rebuttal, am I truly receiving what you're saying? So we talked about that. And even on that 8-hour ride, we still didn't come to the conclusion as who were we back then? Right. You know, we don't, because we've grown into completely different people. So I think to respond to that is to allow the other person that room to expand the better things of themselves and the time to shrink the worst parts of themselves.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of people don't want to do. We live in a microwave society, a now society. If I listen, you brought out the Bible, right? You brought out some Bible verses. I went right to my phone, boom, bop, bop, bop. Ephesians, boom, bop. Whereas before we flipping through them little thin pages, sweating. You don't read our Bible. We like, that's the Old Testament, is that the New Testament?
Right.
A mess. A
Yeah.
mess.
They just keep staring at me like, so but we,
Trying to find it.
yeah, you over there looking like,
He ain't never opened that Bible.
I want it. I look at it. I got it now. And
Yes.
the piece, as far as what men and women should want in a relationship, I want it to help some of the younger folks. When I say younger, I'm not talking about in age. In establishing these interpersonal skills and relationships with one another, you have to allow room for growth and expansion, but you also have to allow that room to reduce,
Right.
or the leeway for them to discover those things that need to be reduced. So if I do something and my wife doesn't necessarily take too kindly to what I'm doing or have done or said or the way I say things, then I need to be able to listen to her, hear what she's saying, and find a way like, okay, I won't do that.
Right.
I won't do that because I know how it makes you feel.
Right.
Wasn't always that way. It wasn't always that way. And the times that when it wasn't always that way, and I didn't care about how it made you feel, were the room where we had that point where we were going to have to suffer through those growing pains and suffer through that time frame where we're trying to reduce our bad habits, our negative ways of thinking and acting. So that's how we would, had to respond to it, discovering that we needed to allow each other that room and time to grow and expand, or that leeway to find a way to reduce some of our negative behaviors and whatnot.
Okay, that's all right. Yes, I like that.
Yeah, 8 hours is a long time.
8 hours is a long time to have a conversation, but that's good though.
You know, I want to ask you a question because this is so good, Cedric. You said we have to allow the expansion.
Mm-hmm.
So when we came together, like you said, we were 19, young. What on the inside of you said, you and my sissy, of course, we gonna ride this thing out. Were y'all committed? So explain that, because people say, well, this is what we're doing, but are you truly committed to the commitment? And that's what it is. I think it is. So explain that, reiterate a little bit on that, because that was powerful.
I don't know. It's sort of like you're going through your weight loss process. You can get on the scale and you're seeing like minor numbers, but then you put on clothes and you notice they're fitting different. You look in your face and you notice your face is getting thinner, and then one day you look up and you're like, dang man, I got a six-pack again and I'm tight again. But you can't go back and find the weight laying around that you just lost. You can't pinpoint a date like this date I was able to lose X amount of pounds.
Right.
It's the same thing. I can't pinpoint a time frame or a date when I said, this is where we actually made this commitment. I think it was made in the day that I said I do, making the commitment to ride it out. Now, again, it goes back to, you sit up there, you say this stuff for better or for worse, but nobody really harps on that worse. We hear better.
Right.
We hear better.
Yeah.
We really don't hear worse. And when we think worse, we're thinking physical ailments, illness, or whatever. We're not thinking the typical stuff, the things you say, I would never deal with that. And then it happens to you and you're like, ooh, okay, now what?
Now what? Yeah.
Call it quits? Or do we work through this? So the thing I went into it with is, one, I'll just explain, because she and I have this heart to heart. I had it with my son Eric when he and I were on a long ride. I knew that I would never meet anyone like her. Okay, I knew that. I knew it. And I was getting ready to go to Germany. And I said, if I go to Germany, this won't happen. So I told her, I said, yeah, girl, I got you. I got you. Because what I did is I said, okay, I called her parents, asked her parents would they mind if I married her daughter? Because I never felt like I felt when she got on that plane and that joker flew away and I went into that bathroom at the airport and I wasn't but it just wouldn't stop. And I'm like, man, and this man told me, he said, man, I know it's going to be all right. You're going to see her again. He didn't even see us together. He just knew. He said, I've seen that before. He knew. So when we did that and we started going through, it wasn't all rainbows and butterflies, but at the time it wasn't all crazy.
Right.
As far as what we were doing and said, hey, we're just going to ride this thing out. We just both knew that based on our backgrounds, I saw a lot of things that I said, you know what, you have a choice. You can say, well, it was good for my pops and he did it. I'm going to do the same thing. Or you can say, I didn't like that aspect of what he was doing. I was too young to have an effect on it or say anything about it. It wasn't my place. Back then, kids were seen, but we wasn't opening our mouth. We wasn't getting in grown folk business.
Right.
And, unless you wanted some Jay-Z lips.
That's right.
So, yeah, no offense to Jay-Z, got way more money than me. Don't come for me, bro. So, please don't.
I love that, man. I love that.
Yeah.
Straight up, we didn't say anything about that. So when I became an adult, and I met D, and we did that, there were a lot of things that I said I'm not going to do. I'm not going to be afraid to show affection to her. I'm not going to be afraid to help her when she asks for help, to bake a cake on a birthday, things like that men don't typically do. Perm her hair, I used to do that. All that kind of relax her hair. All
She in the
stuff.
background telling it.
Yeah, ain't she?
No, I tried to do acrylic nails because that at the time she was, trying to, get into that. So I tried to learn how to do it. Why? Because that's my wife.
Right.
No, was I perfect? No, never was. But that, all of those things, I never wanted to do that for anybody else.
Right.
The way that our relationship was established wasn't predicated on a physical thing to begin with. So the physical thing couldn't be the end all be all to our relationship, right?
Right.
It was predicated on much, much more. My past hurt and so-called, people use the word trauma, but there's no other better word for it. Trauma that I saw in relationships that I witnessed made me want to be better. And then her past hurt that she dealt with in previous things made her want to do things different and choose better.
Right.
There were, I wasn't the guy that had a bunch of girlfriends. I just wasn't. I had a bunch of girls that were my friends, but not a bunch of girlfriends because I didn't have no patience and tolerance for the stupid stuff. You can't test me to see if I'm gonna get jealous. I'm gonna leave you alone.
Right.
You couldn't do that. So there were other young ladies, but I was never ever get married to the devil sat in the igloo dripping and sipping on ice water kind of guy. Yeah, never. That's where I was at.
That's all right.
Until we met. And there was a lot of stuff in between, conversational things that let me know, yeah, that's the one. So it wasn't about, having your mind blown by some kind of physical contact. You can buy that, but you can't buy that love and that commitment and that, that truly for better or for worse type thing. You can't pay for that. You really can't. So I don't know.
So my question to you guys is, and my question is the title. What do you guys want in a woman? I know you both are married, but before you was married and you knew you wanted to get married, what were you looking for in women to say, this is the type of woman I want to marry? And we all been through relationships. So, and failed ones, now y'all in good ones. So before the good ones, what was y'all looking for in a woman?
Right.
Yeah, I guess I got to jump in on this one.
Come on.
All right. So when you're young, as a young man, you're more drawn to the physical attribute. Excuse my dog there. She chiming in. Sky, be quiet, mama. So as a young man, you're more drawn to the physical attributes, and you want is she's cute? How does the body look? All that kind of stuff. She could have an IQ of 2. You probably didn't really care back when you were younger, but as you grow older and you get a little older, unless you're wise beyond your years, you start to look at somebody that you can build a life with. You look at someone that you don't have to always worry about. Is she doing this? Or what is she doing there? Or where is she? Or whatever. Because if you're looking for that type of person, and that's the kind of person that you'll find, you're never going to have peace. Because me myself, 28 years in the military, and then I met my wife. I was already 10 years into that thing. and talk about the horror stories. Ooh, the horror stories they were out there. So I already knew that I didn't want a woman that I would have to worry about. And Cedric, it's funny you should say that she was going to get on a plane to Germany, or you were going to get on a plane to Germany, because that's how me and my wife we came to that impasse early on in our relationship. She had a chance to re-enlist to go to Germany, and I was about to go to Korea. And I too had that aha moment. And, you know, and because I was a little older and had went through a marriage before, I felt just like you felt. Now I was in denial. She'll tell you this. She waiting on me to say it, but I was in denial. You know, and I'm not talking about the river in Egypt, but I was in denial because I just didn't want to open myself up back to the hurt that I felt in my previous marriage. You know, and I said, man, she's the one that I can build a life with. We can do some things together. And it was the way she carried herself. And kind of goes back to our opening statement. She was in the military. She had I can't remember all the new slang, man, but she said bag. So she had her own money. She had her she already had everything she needed. All she needed was a companion, you know. And our story is funny because here we are going in the year 23, and we were only interested in being with each other for the summer. You know, okay. So even though we had been through some relationships and everything, we kind of reverted back to probably our younger days. Oh, she looked good, he looked good. And what we didn't know is God said, y'all are going to be good together.
Right.
And here we are 20 something years later. And we couldn't imagine lives without each other because, like you said, I couldn't get on that plane going to Korea and she was gonna go to Germany, and we like, well, we can do a long distance relationship. And I already had tried that younger. It didn't work.
Yeah.
You know, real horror story on that, but I knew that wasn't gonna work. But I knew she was the one that I could build a life with. And it wasn't by so much of the things she said or the things she did. It was just her presence. I knew she was the one I could build a life with. It was like you said a little while ago. It wasn't. She said a whole lot of things to me. Now, don't get me wrong. She told me if I messed with her, I was stuck with her. Like Velcro. Nope.
Yes, sir.
She told me. I didn't believe her.
Right.
I should have believed it in her. I didn't. Sir. She said, you messed with me, you stuck with me. And boy, but it's a good stuck, though. I love her.
You better.
Right.
I already knew she was coming with that. See, but that's what I'm getting at right there. We kind of know what the other one's going to say. We already know how each other think. We can finish each other's sentences. We can know each other's thoughts. And the funny part about me and my wife's relationship is we're both Geminis. And it took us a while, Cedric, as you said earlier, to allow that expansion and to reduce. Because at first it was like two bulls butting heads. And what we come to realize over years, man, is that we both are either thinking or saying the same thing, but we just saying it totally different. And then some days it's like, you're not listening to me. You're not listening to me. And we both say, we saying the same thing. You just saying thee, I'm saying thou. You saying it, I'm saying that. We're saying the same thing. So I just knew I couldn't let her go. She knew she wasn't gonna let me go. So here we are. We're together.
Right.
So
right.
So I appreciate that, you guys, because both of y'all said it was something about this woman that I just could not let go. So I want y'all to speak a moment to, because there are many that are in relationships or they're seeking relationships that you guys could really give some advice. Because so say for instance, this man, this woman, they talking or whatever, does it take a lifetime to decide who you want to be with? Why does it take so long?
No.
And what could be the problem?
Well, I'm going to try to make this one like quick because I can be long-winded. I say no. It doesn't take a lifetime. And the reason why is because I can only use the best examples I have, which is myself. That's I can only speak from my experience, and I say no. Um, I joined the military in October 1994. I saw Bunny at Fort Jackson, South Carolina. My first words to her was, "Good morning, how you doing?" Her first words to me was, "What you want?" Right? She was on KP. I was in the child line. That was our first words. The next time I actually talked to her was we was on the bus getting ready to go to Fort Lee, Virginia. Okay, now remind you, this is October, right? By the time we getting ready to go to Fort Lee, Virginia, it's December. What's that? I don't do math. How many months is that?
2 months.
All right. So she getting on the bus. I say, you can sit, you can sit right here. She treated me like I was Forrest Gump. Except it wasn't can't sit here. It wasn't that. She was like, I was like, you can sit right here. She was like, gave me the old beatbox and walked. She said, no, thank you. I stand corrected. She gave me the that's what she gave me. And walked to the back. Sat with somebody else. We arrive at Fort Lee, Virginia, get off the bus. They start calling out class assignments. Class 027, they call out a name. Class 027, they call out Butler, her maiden name. Class 22, they go in alphabetically. So then they call out class 027, Stowers. I was like, really? I'll condense this. Platoon leader, squad leader. She's my squad leader because she's an E3, I'm an E2. We're in the same platoon now. They have, intermixed platoons. Through a series of events of being around each other every day, I'm watching, she's watching, but we're both watching from a distance, not necessarily interacting, but I'm seeing things that I'm like, wow. So I had met and dealt with young ladies in between. She went home for Christmas. I didn't. I met a young lady over the Christmas break, and I, was kicking it with this young lady. It was nothing serious. She was on some serious stuff. She talked to me, and I said, you must be crazy, right? Didn't have that same feeling that I had with Danielle, with old Butler. So again, there's a lot of things going in between. She thought I was one type of way, but when we had to do a Soldier of the Month, she's speaking, I'm laughing because she sounded like I'm like, I'm laughing. Drill sergeant said, you think you can do better? He has me come up. I do what I do. When it was over, she said, Stowers, you think you can help me study? I was like, nope. You thought I was stupid or whatever you thought or whatever was going on in your mind. So no. But as it turns out, before it was all said and done, I was shining her boots and sitting them downstairs so she could pick them up in the morning. You understand me?
Yeah.
Now, fast forward. October, 2 basic conversations, nothing crazy. From December to March, we're around each other all the time, except for when we go to sleep. We was even in a talent show together, around each other all the time. When I went to hang with the fellas, she was coming with us, but this is before we really became a thing. Come March, we are an item now, right? Yeah, it was before that, but we was about to graduate it. We graduate. Baby, I told you I was going to condense this, man. This ain't. Okay, so she wants me to point out 2 things. Yeah, she all in there. She wanted to point out 2 things. One time we were sitting at the little PX shopette thing, the food court thing on base, and a dude walked up. We were sitting across holding hands or whatever, and he's like, y'all married? And I'm like, no. And I looked at him like, no, what the hell? and he said, don't worry, you will be. And I was like, ominous. For me, that was an ominous type of thing. Then we get in a taxi one time to go try to, find a we get in a taxi to go get a room. We was coming back. We did grown folk stuff? Okay, so we hadn't done grown folk stuff.
Get the facts.
Right.
Man, my memory,
get it right. You're gonna get it right today.
Right.
The bottom line is this. The bottom line is this. There was a pastor that was a taxi driver that started to tell us things about our relationship and didn't know us from nothing but the taxi ride. It all scared me a little bit. But, I still know that there was a way that I felt that was a little bit different. Keisha, if you want me to tell you what it was, Audrey, if you want me to tell you what it was, Jeremiah, I don't know. Yeah. I just knew something was different.
Right.
That's it. And put it in words.
It was to tell you what that was. I don't know. I know this. I'm not one to show my feet to nobody, and I ain't care about showing my feet to her. You feel me? I got ugly feet. So I was like, when she seen my feet, and then walk away. I was like, yeah, we good.
Wow.
She the one.
Yeah, she the one, like Neo. You know what I'm talking about? She my Trinity.
Already.
Right?
That sounds like a little clip from Boomerang or something there, man.
Yeah.
I got 2 questions for y'all, right?
Mhm.
Wow. That's
First
awesome.
question. As men, when you see a woman and you know from the first day if you want to be with that woman for her to be your wife, right? Wrong or right? Because you know we hear that. Well, I know from the first moment I seen her, you know, a lot of men say that. So now you two here, I just want to know from y'all. Do y'all know from day one y'all want this to be your wife?
No, I didn't.
I would have to venture to say no.
Okay.
And I say that simply because, like I said earlier, as a younger man, you're looking at certain aspects. You're not looking at brain, you're not looking at conversation, you're looking at body or maybe money value. What can she do for me? As you get older, you know, your intellect gets a little different, and you can, from a spiritual standpoint, I'm gonna put it 2 ways. For those who know Christ, from a spiritual perspective, the Holy Spirit lets you know that that's the one that you're supposed to be with. If you don't have a relationship with Jesus or God, whatever, then we say something told me. So there's a difference. You go from someone who may not believe totally that something told me to those who believe that say the Holy Spirit or God told me or showed me that we were going to be together. You know, like you said, no, I don't know. Could I put a word on it, a title or a date? No, I couldn't. All I know is down the line, it became obvious to me that she was the one. Initially, I was like, I don't know. You know.
I can tell you from December to March 17th. March 17th, we graduated. We had to take Danielle to the airport. My parents came up, my dad. We took Danielle to the airport, and I watched the plane. Back then, you could stand and watch the plane taxi away, and you can watch it take off, right? I saw that happen, and that's when my waterworks started. But I'm like, man, I actually was trying to hold it in. I had that burning and that lump in my throat. So I went in the bathroom and the waterworks. So I'm standing there looking in the mirror with my hands on the counter, just looking in the mirror. I'm in, and it's going crazy. That's when I knew, because I've had people. I've left home to go to college. I had left home to go into the military. I had people leave me. I lived from household to household when I was growing up as a young man, and bounced from pillar to post, as they say. But that was the first time in my life that I felt a hollowness inside, like truly, like trying to take a deep breath and can't get that breath to turn over. Like, see that breath, how it just turned over? Try taking that deep breath, but you never can get it to turn over. It's almost like, okay, now if I keep doing that, I'm gonna hyperventilate. But I wasn't physically trying to take a deep breath. I'm just giving you an analogy. That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
That empty. I can't get this breath to turn over. And that's when I knew. And when I went back to my room, she had left me a picture. My boys had put it in my thing. I didn't make my bed up. I slept on a naked mattress. And she had a little photo. She left me. She had her hands like this in the photo, and I put it right beside the thing. My boys was like, "Man, she gone now. You can go out. You can do this." I'm like, "I don't want to go nowhere." Went to the mall, called her people, and the rest is history. So from December, January, February, well, October. We'll put October in there just for good measure. So October, November, December, January, February, March, 6 months. 6 months. So does it take a lifetime? No. But it all depends on what is predicated upon.
Right.
I'm gonna be real. You said we're gonna be real, right?
Yeah, be real.
I'd had sex before. I wasn't no virgin.
Right.
I had dealt with even when I lost my virginity, I lost it to a woman that was older than me. When before I joined the military, I was dealing with two that were older than me. I was 21. One of them was 41. Okay, I was 20 actually, because I turned 21 in basic training, and the woman was a reservist who was 41 in Anderson, South Carolina. So I'd had some semblance of experience. I went to college. I wasn't a goody two shoe type of person. I just wasn't. I wasn't out there, but I mean, you know, I had experience in that arena,
Right.
and never once, you know, like she got your nose wide open is what they like to say.
Right.
So never once did it make me feel the way that I felt when that plane left. And it wasn't because of the physical nature of what had happened. It's because there's something, you know, completely different and spiritually special about this person. Her spirit was different, kind. What do we want in a woman? Kind.
Yeah.
Like
Understanding.
Yeah.
Supportive. Transparency from her, and allow me to be transparent with you.
Yes.
Yep.
We say honesty, but we all lie to some extent about various things. But by and large, we do want honesty.
Exactly.
We do. But you got to understand that with that honesty, there are going to be some lies in there too. Now, how can we deal with that? And do you understand that that's even going to be a thing, that's going to happen? No, if you sit here right now and say, I ain't never lied to nobody, I'm going to go ahead and log off.
Yeah, that's a lie.
We don't have nothing else to talk about.
Right.
So, you know, there's that kind of thing. And I just knew when that plane took off and I couldn't get that proverbial breath to turn over.
Yeah.
That I'm in a different arena now.
Right.
I never wanted to be married. I can tell you that. I wanted a girlfriend. I used to listen to the Quiet Storm at night when I went to sleep. You know,
right.
Straight up.
Yeah.
You know, shoot, I read do. Oh, that was my thing. That Quiet Storm music.
Yeah,
but,
Quiet Storm. Yeah.
So I wanted that. I just, at the time, young,
yeah,
like my man Jeremiah said, I wasn't checking for the attributes that I actually found me, because I didn't find them.
Right.
And then when those attributes in a woman found me, kind, sweet to everybody.
Yeah.
You know, just the way she interacted with other people, not me. You can tell a lot about a man or a woman by how they interact with others.
Say it.
That they don't know.
Say
we love to interact in a perfect way with the people that we know. My sister, my brother, you know, you're my sister. We're gonna be whatever. But what about the person that you that they don't know, and you're looking like, man, you know, she could have embarrassed that cat, or she could have embarrassed that girl. Right. You know, it's like seeing the toilet paper on somebody's heel and then going up quietly and saying, look, I'm standing behind you. I'm gonna step on this toilet paper on your heel, and I want you to walk forward real quick. Don't look down, just do it.
Just do it.
So to save them embarrassment, that kind of stuff. That's cool right there. That's what I started to see.
That's good.
That's what I married.
Right.
I didn't marry the physical.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Aspect, even though all of those things lined up, it was wonderful. But that's not what I married.
Right.
And then once we're in the marriage, you know, it's a whole different ballgame of what makes it last and what keeps it. That's a whole conversation for another time.
Right. Yeah.
Well, like,
and I'll just say this real quick. I mean, I know we're getting close, but like my man Cedric said, I had took a year after my divorce, and I was sitting in a barracks room, and I realized, because I had everything I thought I wanted, but I realized I was lonely. And I said, man, and I said the words out of my mouth, I'm lonely, because I used to go home to Houston from Fort Polk every weekend just to escape reality. And then I realized I was lonely. And then we was going to class, and she was talking to one of her friends, talking about she liked to cook, and I was hungry. So I, you know, made a joke, said, you know, I like some food too, or some cake or whatever it was. And they correct me if I'm wrong, but she was like, I ain't feeding you or something, she said.
No, what you said was, we was talking about. I came to class and I was like, man, I'm hungry. I should have got me a piece of cake. And you was like, well, I like cake. If you'd have bought the cake, I'd have went to the shop and got some milk.
Yeah, corny line, but you know, it worked.
It did not work.
I was hungry though.
You was hungry, but it didn't work at the time.
Yeah, whatever.
Right.
See, what he really didn't know is I baited him in.
Yeah, she did.
You know what I'm saying? I baited him in.
All that means you was fishing with the right thing.
That's right.
Right.
But I ain't gonna cut you off, baby. Go on with your story.
That's it.
That's it. Okay. Well, let me go to my last question.
All right.
you two as men, I want you guys to tell ladies from a man perspective about losing themselves in a man or in a relationship.
Well,
Talk about it.
that goes back to what we said earlier. So, all righty. Take a deep breath on this one. Let me see if I can get this breath to turn over, brother.
Let it turn over, bro. Let it breathe.
So,
Yeah.
so as we said earlier, the individuality. All right, you have to. First of all, you have to understand yourself. You have to love yourself, and you kind of have to know yourself. Because if you look for someone to complete you, then you're doomed. You're doomed from the beginning because no one can complete you. They can compliment you. Okay, compliment versus complete. The only person, once again, the only person that can complete you is God. Okay.
Yes.
He gives you helpmeet. He gives you that like-minded, that like spirit that he knows can work together.
Yes.
He ain't saying it's gonna be all peaches and cream, smooth sailing all the way, but he knows your spirits, your kindred spirits, as they call it. He knows when he puts you together, no matter how you may have came together. Like I told y'all a while ago, me and my wife, we thought we were gonna be a summer fling. 3 months summer, especially in Louisiana and Texas, you actually get summer, not like Colorado. 2 weeks. We were gonna be together for a short period of time, and then I guess we were supposed to go our separate ways. God said, "No, I got something better." So don't look for somebody to complete you. Look for somebody to compliment you.
There you go.
And once you find a person that compliments you, I mean, people say this is don't take this as a superficial meaning, but something as simple as how you two look together can be an indicator of how if you two are meant to be together. And I know that sounds superficial, but if you two compliment each other in a picture, if y'all two can compliment, and here's a key indicator: if people say y'all look good together,
say it.
If people say you look good together, chances are you're meant to be together, because some people can see people for who they really are, but you can't take their word for it. You have to get it in yourself, in your spirit. People can tell you all day long, you look together, you look good together. But you be honest with yourself. My man said a while ago, transparency. Not just being transparent with other people, being transparent with yourself.
Say it.
Look in the mirror. You know, if somebody don't compliment, you know, you might try to build yourself up and say, I can make it look better. No, you can't. It is what it is.
Right.
And deep down inside, you will know if that person compliments you. If they don't compliment you, then you need to go keep it moving. Compliment, not complete. Remember that. So that's my take.
Said.
I'll allow it. So he's right. You know, people tell you look good together, you know, because they call me and Bunny. They always called us. I call my wife Bunny now. It used to be Red, now it's Bunny. But I call her Bunny. And they used to always call us Beauty and the Beast. Right? And I was like, yeah, I understand. I said, but if anybody else calls her a beast, I'm gonna have to give you these hands. You understand me? Catch these hands. Anybody that's seen my wife, they say that's why she laughing so hard. You ain't gotta laugh that hard though, Keisha.
Man, bruh, that was good.
That was good. Boy, that was hard.
Now, legitimately, these conversations are things that I had with my wife about losing yourself in a person. I always told her too, you know, don't put me in particular so high on a pedestal. Don't do that, because the higher you put me, the farther I got to fall. It's not if I fall, it's when I fall. I don't want to fall. I want to fall off the curb, not a building. So, you know, those things that you do like about me, express those things to me. You don't have to tell everybody else. They will see love in us. So I used to tell her all the time, when we first got married, again, she went from her parents' household into this marriage, and it was, you know, me, you know, it was like, and it used to become almost like a smothering type of effect. Believe it or not, like not necessarily being trapped. It's just like, ooh, I just need moment, I need a moment to myself to,
Right.
and again, she was 19. Okay. I was 21. Now we're at a point in our lives at our age now and been in this game so long that I can say, well, Buns,
Right.
XYZ is going on. I'm not going to be able to make it. She want to go see Keisha when Keisha was up in Griffin, Georgia. I'm like, go.
Right.
What I tell her is be careful and be mindful of your surroundings. Keisha, you've heard me say that before.
Already.
Be careful, be mindful of your surroundings, right?
Mhm.
So don't, be out and just off in la la land, just kind of going through. Be mindful of what's going on around you and be careful. But do that for you. You need time with your girlfriends, the ones that you trust and I trust. You need time with them to do that, and it can't be anything all about me. Sometimes I'm content to just. I mean, look, I'm a big kid, so I sit and I just play the PS5. And I'm content to do that. And at this point, no, for real, at this point
Oh, I'm laughing
in
because
our,
that's my husband.
yeah, I mean, it's a weird thing because it's I tell Danielle sometimes, I say, Bunny, I don't even like it. It's really kind of boring, but it's just kind of something for me to do, just to do sometimes. And I'll go from there and then I'll DJ a little bit and then I'll get up and then from DJing and I'll go over and I'll sit at the computer and do a little something. Then I come back and I play the game a little bit and I might find something to watch, that kind of thing, to occupy my time so that I'm not completely all wrapped up and losing myself in her. What's she doing? Where's she at?
Say it.
No,
Say it.
like he said it. You're an individual before you met me. There's things you like to do. Listen, I'll pay somebody to go to Olive Garden with her if I had to when we was in Colorado Springs. You feel me? Because I can't deal with that thing. So I was like, Keisha likes to do it. Go, Keisha do it. Shelly, those kind of things. It doesn't necessarily have to be me. I'll leave you with this in this aspect of talking about getting wrapped up in a person. We just had this. I talked to her today. I said, look, we were talking about something, and she said, well, we was talking about one of my friends. And she said, well, I'm not going to say anything because I don't want you to think XYZ. And I said, Bunny, say it because it doesn't matter what I think. You can't control that. I would rather you tell me how you feel about this person, this situation, this person, or whatever, rather than hold it to yourself because you're worried about how I'm going to respond. And
Right.
meaning, like, my response ain't going to be nothing crazy anyway. So what are you worried about? Say it.
Right.
Don't be so wrapped up in how it's going to make me feel. I'd feel worse if you just held on to it and didn't say anything at all and let me continue to look like a fool or whatever. If we're equally yoked and I'm still supposed to be the leader, right? But I'm leading us off a cliff. We both some fools if you don't say, hey, man, I think you better turn left or right because we about to go over the edge.
Right.
Then we both really truly deserve each other and we deserve to be at the bottom of that cliff. So being a leader doesn't mean you can't take instruction or advice. Being the head doesn't mean like, okay, so yeah, you the head, right? But it
Right.
doesn't mean your hands don't take instruction from what your brain and your extremities are what you're telling it to do,
Right.
right?
Right.
So if that's where I'm at with that, and I said don't get so wrapped up into how I might take something or how I might feel about you having a difference of opinion or a different outlook on something that we're both seeing or experiencing or going through. So
Right.
wrapped up in how it's going to make me, because neither one of us are disrespectful to each other. What do you want from a woman? Respect. And I'm not talking about the kind of respect that people tend to want to put that in that ball of you need to respect me. No, just
Right.
respect. If you disagree with me, tell me. You can tell me in a respectful way, just like I can tell you, sweetheart. I know you have it. You look great, and I know that dress is going to look great on you. Now, what do you want to receive as a result of wearing that dress? Because if you want attention, you're going to get it. You're going to get compliments and you're going to get attention. If you're okay with that and that makes you happy, do it. But here's how I feel.
Right.
I don't want somebody to get out of pocket, and I'm not insecure at all. I promise you.
Right.
But I don't want nobody to get out of pocket, and then now I gotta either make a choice to walk away, ignore it, and it's just a whole lot that might come along with that.
Right.
So we have those kinds of conversations about I know what you like, what you know how I feel about things. I'm not so wrapped up in my own feelings, and you're don't want you to be so wrapped up in my feelings that you can't express yourself, be who you are. Let's talk about it. Let's have a
Right.
conversation about it. So that's dangerous when people lose themselves. They just set themselves up for failure. themselves up for a whole lot of other stuff that they shouldn't have to worry about, a whole lot of other pain and whatnot. Be yourself. Be
Right.
yourself. Your quirkiness and your silly sense of humor, your innocence, all of those things that a lot of people might find to be an annoyance are the things that I fell in love with in the first place. Be you.
Right.
And don't let me or nobody else change that unless I'm trying to help you be better.
Right. Right. Yeah. You know, and you said that. Oh, you said that thing. Don't let anybody change that unless I'm helping you try to be better.
Helping you try to be better. Yeah, because again, I can't complete you at all. I can just say, hey, look, I think if you did it this way, it'd be a little bit more efficient. I think if you wore it this way, or I think if you did this, I don't control anything. My wife, whatever, we good. But
Right.
If I tell you, it's like I tell my kids, do you think I'm going to tell you anything that's for your harm? And if the answer is yes, don't listen to me.
Right.
That's it. That ain't no more.
You know what? And that is so good. I love that because you said that we respect one another. And it's not this, well, you need to respect me. No. It's a mutual respect. And I love the way, because I say all the time, because this is what women like, talk to me. I've heard this. It doesn't matter what I say or how I say it. Oh, but it does.
Yes, it does.
You can say something to me in a different manner and I receive it. Or you can say something to me in another way that will make me feel as if you're coming against me. So I love that. Well, maybe, baby, maybe you should try this. That may work. It's communication, and that is respect and honor one another. So I love that you said that. I don't tell her what to do. I'm here to help her. And I love Pastor Teray said, well, Sarah Jakes Roberts said, she said when her and her husband met, he said, what can I do to create a safe space for you to flourish? How can I serve you? That's what he said to Sarah. And she was like, oh my gosh, y'all don't say this. What? But that's exactly what you just said. How can I create this safe space for you to be you and to help for each one of us to help expand us and to grow? And truth be, that's what we look for, in a man. Okay, we're not trying to control one another. We want to respect and honor one another. You be you and you be transparent. How you feel, okay, you may feel some type of way, but then it's like, well, let's talk about it. But if you feel that you can't talk about it, then there's a problem.
Yes, exactly. And that's where I don't ever want her to feel, because I told her, I don't know if it's age or what, but man, listen, if I feel it, I'm just gonna let you know.
Say it. Say it.
It is what it is. And again, it won't be disrespectful or anything like that, but I'm still gonna let you know, because I had to learn the hard way that holding on, when I hold on to things, they always talk, be the bigger man, be the bigger man, be the bigger man. That's one thing, but sometimes you got to let a person know respectfully that what they're doing, and I'm talking about just in life, and I'm talking about relationships, just in life.
Say it.
What they're doing is not good for you. Like, hey, look, what you're doing right now is not good for me.
Yeah.
Right.
So let's take a step back. Let's examine what's going on. I'm going to tell you how it's affecting me and how it's making me feel, and let's you and I both together figure out how can we get through that part. Like how can I'm not, and so you do it in such a way where it's not accusatory.
Right.
You're
right.
And I. Here's what's going on. Here's how it makes me feel. Men don't like to talk about what makes them feel some type of way.
Right. Yeah, and you know what?
We got to get comfortable with saying, sweetheart, I did not like that at all. Here's how I felt when that happened.
Show your emotions as a man. That's what we talked about, sis. How men don't want to show their emotions because they grew up or was grown. People told them when they was growing up, men don't cry. You have to be hard. You have to do this. But as a woman, I appreciate my husband showing his emotions.
Right.
That let me know you're human. You have feelings. Really? You have
And
feelings,
that's
you
what
know,
what's called a
and
relationship, right?
right. And and to me that makes me even more closer to him because he's not afraid to show his feminine side to me.
Mhm.
You know what I
Right.
mean?
Mhm.
And as a woman, that's what we want. We want to know, like, can my man cry in front of me? Can he
Yes.
be vulnerable in front of me?
Yes.
Go ahead, Seth.
He said
Can I
me.
say that? Can I? Yeah, no, I just have a question. I
Yeah.
just want to put it out there. Vulnerability, crying, what makes that a feminine trait? It's not.
Right.
That's a human
You're
trait.
right.
Human trait.
That's a human trait. So when a
It
man
is.
cries,
But
I
you
say
know,
this.
growing
Now
up,
it depends on how you cry. Now, big Jeremiah over there. Hey, bro. Hey, look. Hey.
Hey, I would say the same to you, brother.
Right.
but it's not a feminine trait. But you know, growing up, they society made it a feminine
Right.
trait. Like
Yep.
little boys not supposed to cry.
Mhm.
Little
Right.
boys not supposed to be vulnerable. You know, you a man. You know, you supposed to be. You're not supposed to show that. That's what society have young men thinking, and that's why I really and truly feel like a lot of our young men are lost because of it, because they got so much emotions inside and they
Right.
don't know how to release
Mhm.
it. Now the release is, let me go be a man. I'm gonna shoot you because you offended me, instead of talking
Right.
about it or
Right.
showing your vulnerability. Now we have all this crime. That's what I believe.
Yeah, that is
Mm.
so
I
good.
agree with you 100%
Yeah.
because, boy, fall down, get up, boy, get up, wipe
Right.
it off. You
Stop
know,
crying.
you're taught not to even show that you're hurt.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
So you're absolutely right. And so I would say that if there's a thing that says I have a question for the women,
Yeah,
men,
it
not
is a question.
Yeah.
women want a man, you want to see vulnerability.
Hmm.
Yes.
The ability to be able to show your emotions. And we're not talking about hypersensitivity, right? We're just talking about the fact that, hey, look, I punch you in your stomach. You don't care how tough you are. You might have the rock hard abs, but if I punch you hard enough, it's okay if it hurts. And so
Right.
sometimes those emotional gut punches hurt.
Right.
Mhm.
The emotional things that you're dealing with at work, and you come home and you're holding on to it, and someone say, babe, let me tell you about. Listen, I don't know now. I don't know if I can deal with these people that much longer, because let me tell you, I was so, and I like, emotions is anger too. I was
Right.
so
Right.
upset, I almost lost it. And
Hmm.
then she can be your balance. Like, hey, I
Yeah.
know, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't have been mad. What do you think you should do next? Well, here's what I'm going to, go talk to XYZ, go talk to him, pull him aside, wait till the moment
Yeah.
is right. Don't do it in front of anybody else, because you want to consider their whatever. I think that's a huge thing. You're telling me what, I know it's what men/women want in a relationship, but that tells me what you would be looking for, married or not.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yes.
That women, they really want that, but there's a conditioning, just like men have been conditioned to, bow up. There's a conditioning on women, like, you don't even need, you can do it yourself, sis.
Right.
Right.
That's the conditioning. But I seen a woman yesterday, I was telling my son about it. I seen her yesterday. I said she need help, because she riding down the street, brakes squealing like crazy. When she go to make a turn, her rear lights are blinking real fast, which tells me she got a burned out bulb somewhere.
Yeah.
And I told my son, there's a man in her life. If there's a man in her life, he don't love her.
Mhm.
He
Say
don't love
it.
her like he deserves to be loved.
Ooh, say it.
You ain't gonna let her ride like that.
Come on
Right.
now.
Hello now.
You're not.
And
Something that simple.
yeah.
Take care of me.
You know
Right.
what, man? You know
And
what?
that's exactly what I was going to say is because a lot of people are like, oh, she want me to take care of her. That should be a part of your
They think
DNA,
of money.
your
But they think
makeup.
money though.
Yeah, you think money, but that is emotional, mental. We want that man, and stability.
Right.
And somebody say, you said it so good, said, I got you. Before y'all got married, you said, I got you. And in your mind, you probably had no idea what that I got you meant, but you knew I got you. And you're absolutely right. You see a busted light out. If that woman got a man, he don't love her like she deserved.
Exactly.
And that was so powerful because, yes, that was the question. What do women want? And that's what we want. We want to know that y'all got us,
Right.
and that we can be vulnerable. We don't want to hear, oh, you just a crybaby. Stop crying. You know what I'm saying? Well, hold up. Maybe I'm showing and expressing my emotions to you, So you, as my man, can say, baby, you know what? It's going to be all right. Sometimes that's all you got to say.
That's all you want. But then, you know, with that being, just like y'all have us, we want y'all to know we have y'all.
You. Yes.
Because this is the thing about a woman. If we know our man got us, it ain't nothing he can't ask from us that we won't do, because we know he got me 100. So I got him 100. He treat me like a queen. I'm treating him like a king. He don't treat me like I'm beneath him. We're equal.
Right.
So once you get that established, you know, all a woman want to know is you value her, you respect her, and you treat her as an equal. You don't treat her less than. You don't treat her like you're my servant. You do what I say do.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because if you treat us the way we want to be treated, we have no problem being submissive. But you have to be submissive to the right one.
Right. Right.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Somebody that's not going to do you. Bless you.
Yeah, and so many young girls out here being submissive to men that they ain't even married to. And then they going to work and the man staying at home living up on her all day. And that's a whole nother topic. But
that's part two that he not shoot.
Yeah, we need a part two, because that goes, you know, it's too, I see too many young women have these boyfriends and they treat them like husbands, and then they don't even go to work. The woman going to work supporting him.
They're not husband material, what you're saying.
Right.
Look, them girls think it's husband material, but he's not looking at her as wife material. He's looking at her as a cash cow. And if you, and as women, it's okay to have your man if he have you, but you can't go to work and take care of a man who ain't trying to do nothing for himself or you. You see what I'm saying?
As my sister would say, you better say that.
Better say that. You better say that. But but sis, that goes back to understanding individuality. When you understand who you are, you won't allow that foolishness.
Right.
You won't. And when you know what God said that you deserve, what he has for you, then you won't allow that foolishness. You know, now I understand that, you know, some situations where the wife does go to work and the husband, the man, you know.
Well, that's different. I ain't talking about husband and wife. I'm talking about these girlfriends and boyfriends.
Yeah, yeah.
Because what husband and wife is different. Because the husband could have been working and the wife was at home and something happened where the husband can't work. Now the woman have to step up. That's totally different. But if I'm dating you and you're not my husband, excuse me, I'd be damned if I go out to work and you laying on my couch all day, ain't doing nothing.
Yeah,
that's my wife, y'all.
Hey, look, man. Hey, she's speaking on it because
I claims her.
And that is absolutely, you know, true. And you know, another thing that we can appreciate is a man that say, you know what, we gonna do this. Because, you know, something so profound, you guys. I forget who, I think it was it Bishop or it might have been Teray. He said, most men want want a woman to submit, but what do she have to submit to?
That part.
Are you giving me anything to submit to? Have you shared with me what's going on the inside of you? Where are we going? What you got? What plan? What vision has God given you so that I can come alongside and propel that vision? Because let me tell you something. You give me a house, I'm gonna make it a home. You give me food, I'm gonna make a meal. You see what I'm saying? So this is what we do. So if we don't have that, if that man has no clue, and like you said, they want to lay up on you and not do, hold up, I'm not gonna allow that. But this is what we want. We want somebody to know, okay, babe, where are we going? And can we do life together?
That part.
And you know,
can I see you and I doing life together?
It goes back. You know what? It was. I'm not gonna say I took it as the gospel, but it was told to me, and I've learned this over time as I've grown up. You know, as a man, is that if you are a man and you are being led by God and you're being led by the Holy Spirit. You don't have to say anything. If you're married, so this is not a married. This particular point I'm finna make is not a married or not statement.
Right.
But if you find a man that is walking after God, so like David in the Bible was a man after God's own heart.
Mhm.
If you look at, so as a man, if you're, this is okay, this is about to get deep. This is where fathers or dads come into play in men's life, because if the men are, if they have their dads in their life and the dad was raised the right way, then he transfers to his son, and his son goes on to become the man that he sees his dad, or so emulates. So I'll put it like this: my dad had some ways back in the day, but my dad also introduced me to church. And then me and my dad used to sit in the choir. We used to sing together. Okay. So my dad instilled in me some qualities back then as a godly young man. As I got older, I did stray away from God for a little while, but I had a praying wife. Okay.
Say it.
Now she brought me back. Okay. And boy, it's good to be back. But if you have a man that is being led by God, he doesn't have to sit there and say, respect me. He doesn't have to sit there and say, I am the leader. I am this, I am that. She already recognizes that in you. And she sees that in you. And she knows you're going to lead her down the right path. I'm not going to lead her off the cliff. Like
Right.
Cedric said a little while ago. Y'all just heard my wife. If I'm finna go off a cliff, she can be like, hey, boy, you about to go off the cliff. I ain't going with you. She gonna say so.
Already.
You know, she might even try to stop me, but she's not going to go off that cliff with me. Okay. Then I respect that, because that's one of the things that I love and respect my wife for. Because, like I told y'all, we both Geminis and we both can be stubborn sometimes. And we both know for a matter of fact that we're not going to let the other one do something that's going to end up hurting themselves or hurting the relationship.
Right.
You know, we're going to speak up. Now, what I will say is, a few minutes ago, the way you say it is something my wife has been beating me up for years. Because she said, boy, it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
That's it.
And I'm like, what did I say? And then she'll hit me with the head. And then, and then, you know, I got to go ahead and do like my man said. Well, okay. I might be big and buff and strong and all that, but hey, my wife, she can humble a brother. I just got to be honest, y'all. That's that vulnerability. Yeah. She knows how to humble me. She'll put me in my place, as some people say.
In a minute.
Yeah. And
then you just be a man too much.
You know what? We asked the question, what do men want? A man that has matured, I put it that way. A man that has matured doesn't want a woman that he can tell, you go do A, B, C, D, and then you come back and you let me know when you're done. We don't want that. Okay, we really don't. We just want a woman that's going to be by our side, that's going to tell us what's right, what's wrong, and to love us unconditionally. She's still who she is. I still who I am. Cedric said earlier, we got to compromise and collaborate.
Right.
It's not going to always be. It's like two magnets, and everybody know how magnets are. Magnets, they get close, but the tension between them keeps them apart. And sometimes marriages are just like that. You want that tension, okay? Because if you both become the same, and y'all both, as they say, polarity, if you lose that polarity, then there's no resistance. Because sometimes either one in a relationship is going to do something, and they know it's not the best thing to do. And but that's why they're looking for that balance, as we said a little while ago. You're looking for that balance. Me and my wife, we balance each other. And as we've been together, and we balance each other at different times, because she said, well, boy, you too nice, you too soft. And then I say, girl, you too mean, you too hard. You know, she said, you let people take advantage. I said, no, I'm not. Boom. Flip it on the other coin. We done got a little older now.
Right.
Everybody know my wife. They say she'll tell you herself. If you ask my wife something you want the truth, you better be prepared for what you ask for.
already.
I'm gonna give you the truth.
Yeah.
And I might say, babe, you might can't say it this way. She said, well, they asked. Well, babe, still, they asked you for a reason, you know.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
so we balance each other, you know. Sometimes I can go to 10 and she can stay at 1. Sometimes it's the opposite. But at both times, though, we both can say, babe, you on 10.
Right.
You need to bring it down to about 5. I ain't coming to 5 yet. I'm gonna stay at 7 then. You know? And then we're gonna keep compromising until we getting a little older now. Sometimes we just forget what we talking about. You know, what we talking about?
Right.
You say come to 10. I don't even remember what we talking about. So who cares? But it's the balance, man. It's the balance to compromising, and you need that counterweight. You need that help me to balance you out, because
Absolutely.
you have to have it. And it goes for boyfriends and girlfriends and
Absolutely.
significant others and all of that. That's how you build a relationship, and that's how you come to get to be married. We didn't start married. We started as a summer fling.
Right.
We became
friends.
We became friends. I won't say if we ever really truly became girlfriend, boyfriend. I guess we did, you know. But it works. It really does work. But and the thing about it now is, like you said, microwave generation. Push the button, ding, it's done.
Right.
This thing takes time. It takes time, and you got to be willing to go through the better and for worse.
Right.
And then when
And that's relationships, not just marriage. It's better and worse in relationships.
Right.
Everything.
Right.
And then the submission, as the scriptures say, men putting our pride aside, following after God. If we submit to God, that's the true test of a man right there. Can he submit to God? If he can submit to God, he doesn't have to say anything to anybody. They can see that in you. People tell you all the time, man, you command respect. They don't say you give respect, you command respect. If you walk in the room and people say, hey, that comes such and such, man, that's a great person or a great man, great woman. That's because you commanding the respect and you haven't said anything.
Right.
You just walk in and your presence, your spirit commands the respect. You don't have to walk in there and demand anything if you're walking according to God's will and plan for your life. So, all right, I'm gonna be quiet now.
You know, that's good. I want you guys to okay, so we're gonna have you talk to women, and then I want you to share with men. But talk to the women as far as what do you tell your
bruh? You got 2 of them on here, bro.
Oh yeah, that's right, Jeremiah. What do you tell your daughters to look for in her man?
So that's an easy question. And the answer is simply this. If your daughters find a young man that they want to marry their dad, if you treat your wife right, you're doing the things that a man's supposed to do, is leading his household, your daughter's going to look for a man that emulates, that's similar to you. I'm not saying nothing crazy or weird like that, but if you've done your job as a dad and you've led your house the way you should as a godly man, your daughter is going to look for a man that emulates her dad. And if she finds that guy, when she brings him home to the dad is going to feel it right away. Now, he's not going to agree with everything this guy does or says, but if you had to put it on a scale of 1 to 10, it's going to be about a 7 or an 8, because he's still his own individual. And as a dad, you can't put that pressure on that young man to try to be like you, you know. And this is something I tell my son that married my daughter. I tell him that all the time. You're not me, man. You close, but don't try to measure yourself against me, because that's put too much pressure on you, man. You know, that's what I've told my son. So if you've done your job as a dad, your daughter's going to find a man that emulates her father, that reminds her of her dad. If you've done your job as a dad, she's going to find a man that's going to do just what you did. And that's how you know you've done your job.
That's good. Said, what do you tell your sons?
I'm gonna say this piece and then I gotta jump off because I'm getting the eye. We gotta go to meet somebody for dinner real quick. So I'm gonna tell this piece. What I tell my sons is They all, if they ever, and they said this in the comment, I would be like you, Dad. I said, well, don't be like me, be better than me.
They
That's
better.
what I tell them. And they said, well, what does that mean? And I said, well, you had the privilege of having a person that's very transparent with you, and when you reach a certain age, let you know about all my failures. Okay, so
Mhm.
I'm able to stand on that. Like, hey, here's where I failed. Here's where I went wrong. Here's what I did. Here's what it cost me. Here's the consequence. Everything has consequence, good or bad. It's gonna have a consequence. You're gonna, that reap what you sow type of deal. You might not reap
Mhm.
it right away, but you're gonna get it. So I said, well,
Right.
don't be like me, be better than me. And
Yeah.
when you're looking for a young woman, I've showed you, because I've got the type of sons that they're not going to really stand for any type of weird, crazy type of behavior within this household. Keisha, no. So
Right.
I've seen it in my son Eric. The most I can say, who tries to, he even uses terms that I use. When he had a young lady one time that he was seeing, and she was having problems with her vehicle. If he didn't know how to address it, he come to me, hey Dad, I want to help her. She's having this. Do you know how to do brakes on this? And I'm like, okay, well, good. He's looking out for that.
Yeah.
So in a young lady, I always tell them, you're going to look for somebody that has respect not only for you, but first for
Say
themselves.
it.
Watch how they treat other people. If you have an opportunity to meet, and it's serious enough where you meet their family, see how they interact with their other family members, their siblings and whatnot, the people closest to them, see how they interact with those, because there's going to be one way. Now let's see again how they interact with those that are not so close to them. Are they
Right.
kind? When a waiter or waitress comes up, do they speak to them with respect, or do they speak to them in a certain type of way? Because if you notice some disrespect towards a person who they consider to be beneath them, you don't want to be with a person who has that in their spirit. You need
Say
them to
it.
go ahead, purge that out of their spirit. You don't want to be a part of that. You don't want to take that on. I'm gonna leave you with this real quick because I gotta go. I'm getting an eye.
Okay.
Submit, accept or yield to a superior force or to the authority or will of another person. That's the textbook definition of submit. Number two, though, says subject to a particular process, treatment, or condition. So,
Mhm.
do you have to submit to a process that's detrimental? Do you have to be subject to treatment that's unhealthy, right? Do you have
Right.
to be subject to unhealthy conditions? If you
Mm.
say this process is unhealthy, this treatment is detrimental to my well-being and my safety, this condition is not one that I can thrive in, should you submit? I say no. So
No.
you're looking for a person who will help you work. They have a you can guys can develop whatever process. What do we want to do? What are we trying to do within this relationship? How do we want to be? How do we want to interact with each other? How do we want to uh, just how do we want to exist together, coexist,
Yeah. Yeah.
relationship, married or not?
Right.
We just kind of gelled into that, where I never put her into a condition that was going to be unhealthy. Now, listen, I didn't do everything perfect because we've gone through our share of trials and tribulations, right?
Right.
But I was allowed the leeway to develop a process to shrink those things that were causing her to be in a bad condition, and causing this treatment that she did not like, and then expand on those things that made us both be in better areas of our life. So when I tell my sons, I'm like, look, you can't get caught up in the physical attributes. And I know you're young, I know it, and I know what we look at them, I love the human body of a female. It's wonderful, and I know that's what you look at, but there's a whole lot of other things to consider when you're looking
Absolutely.
for someone to spend your time with, not just your life right away.
Your
That
time.
will come 3, 6, 1 year, whatever. That will come. So that's what I tell my sons. If you're
Mm.
looking at how our marriage has been, we've had a great marriage by all stretches of the imagination, full of all the things that person could go through in the marriage, and we work through it. But don't be like me, be better than me. Take all
Yes.
the things that, okay, look, take all the things you like about what you saw. Do what the old school people used to do when they made biscuits. Sift that flour. Let all the good stuff fall through. That's what you
Yeah.
make your biscuits with. That way you leave them lumps in that sifter so you ain't got no lumps in your biscuit batter.
Come
Okay?
on now.
Say
Take
it.
all the good stuff, let it come through. And that negative things, if you see it and you address it and they're not willing to compromise and change, like, oh, I didn't know I
Mm.
was doing that. I am so sorry.
Yeah.
Being able to say that, I am so sorry. I didn't know I was doing that. I apologize. You know, okay, good. We got something we can work with. You don't tell me, you don't tell me, this is how I am. Then you're probably better to cut your losses.
Say it.
I
Compliment.
got to get up out of here, y'all.
That's
All
all
right,
right.
brother. I was about to say, you
Yeah.
talking
Thank
about
you.
my sister hungry. But thank you for
We love
being
y'all.
on.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Yes.
All right.
Y'all done got me in trouble. Now I got to go to counseling about why we in dire straits because I done kept this woman hungry.
But
too long.
thank you. But
Thank you.
there will be another part 2 for us to continue, said
Yes.
because you guys have
Indeed,
some wisdom
indeed.
that you can give. You're giving to somebody else to bless them. So we want to just say thank you. Sister,
Thank
we
you.
love you. Thank you. We'll see y'all later, baby.
Yeah.
Go on and
Yep,
get off.
just log
Love y'all,
on,
good
bro.
people.
All right, bro.
Hey, thank you so much. I thoroughly enjoyed being a part of this. I appreciate y'all.
Yes,
All
you
right.
Welcome.
love you.
Hey,
Love
Daniel.
She got
See you guys later.
Really saying thank y'all.
All right. See y'all later.
See y'all later.
Y'all be easy. Take care.
Bye. But yeah,
Yeah.
and I was gonna comment on something you said, Jeremiah, was really good. What you broke down, what you told the girls, and you're right. You do tell our son, don't measure up to you because he's not you.
Right.
He have qualities like you, but nobody should measure up to someone else. You have to be yourself. And you have to figure. And as a young married couple, they have to figure out things on their own because we had to figure out things on our own. We didn't run to mommy and daddy. But what I do want to say, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of men have to stop treating, and not only men, women too. A lot of men have to stop treating their wives like, oh, my mom did this, and the women have to start saying, well, my daddy did this. Yes, you're a daddy's girl, you a mama's boy. But when y'all two become one, it ain't about your mama and your dad. It's about y'all.
That's right.
Exactly.
A lot of relationship fail because they want to compare it to their parents. Well, my mama did it this way. Why you don't do it this way? Because I'm not your mama.
I'm not your mama. That's
well, my daddy did this, and well, I'm not your daddy.
right.
And that's where we have to get where, when we say we want this in a man. Now, and I know I think I told you this but my husband no. I always said I prayed for him.
Absolutely.
I prayed and I asked God for a man like him. I want a man after your own heart, God. I want a man who's going to love me unconditionally with my faults and all. Love my girls as his own. I want a man. I don't care if he drank, but he can't smoke. That was you got to be specific when you asking God for what you want in a man or a woman, right?
Be specific.
You got to be specific. A lot of people think that's cliche. Oh, people say, no, pray and be specific because God gave me exactly what I prayed for. And this man loved me through thick and thin. And when you say better and worse, honey, he don't love me. This man don't bathe me when I could not bathe myself. When I had breast cancer, he was there. He took care of me.
Right.
Our church family helped him take care of me and help give him mental breaks.
Right.
Because I know it was a lot on him. He never had to deal with that. I was too weak to be in the tub, in the shower, standing up. He did that for me. That's what we mean by better and worse.
Yeah.
You can't go to the worst and then be like, well, I can't do this. I'm giving in. So why did you get married if you just there for just the better? If you can't go through the worst with a person, you don't need to be married, and you got married for the wrong reasons.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
But our time is up, sis. So, we went longer. We got to have a part 2 because it's so much more.
There's so much meat in there. Yeah, it is. Because, and typically we only go for an hour, but we're not finna stop what God is doing because there's a lot of stuff that people needed to hear. And we're absolutely going to do a part 2, bro. You be prepared because
I got it.
Yeah, we're gonna bring Ced back on as well, because I think this is really good. And we wanted to acknowledge Mama. We were so in the conversation. Good evening, Mother.
Hey, Mama Jackie. I did see you coming, but I didn't want to stop the flow.
We see you, Mama. And what Drea said, oh Lord, she said, not the feet. She is not a feet person. So, but you're absolutely right. But if she had to, if it was, she would wash. She would deal with Austin feet. You know what I'm saying? Because she loved it. You know, there ain't no, you can't, you know, I think in relationships, you know, like y'all said, submit, compromise, and collaboration. If I need to do this, I'm gonna do it.
Right.
And that's in the line, for better or for worse. Well, what if, you know, you just couldn't, like you said, sis, I couldn't bathe myself.
Mm-hmm.
So, bruh, you stepped it up and said, you know what, this is what we doing. This is how I got you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I you know, I honor you, bruh, you know, and I don't put you on this so you can fall. But I see God in you, and I see that you love with an unconditional love. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
So, and that's what we as women, we look for. And I tell you all the time, bro, you are a great example of what I want my husband to be like and to walk in. Because I mean, and being transparent, fun, love, unconditional. You wear so many hats. You know, that's why I call my brother, y'all, if y'all don't know, Mr. Mom. Because
you
my
sure
brother,
do.
he literally do everything and don't mind. And a lot of times we have to tell brother, sit down.
Y'all
you
do.
know, you need a break.
But I got to be honest, though. You know, it's one thing I never picked up that great. And my girls tell you this. My wife tell you too. They combing that hair.
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah, he can't go there.
It's all right. You ain't got.
He gotten better, but he ain't there.
So thank you for not putting me on that pedestal, because if it would deal with hair, I've been to fail a long time ago.
What Drea say? If I had to, absolutely, but I pray I never have to.
Well, niece, you will.
Lord,
you will, niece, you will. If
never say never, never say
yes.
Yes.
Well, you know,
she just said something. What she?
If I had to, absolutely, but I pray I never have to wash the feet, the ankles.
Girl, she don't want to go past the ankles. But I am not messing with you, baby girl. I'm not.
No, Drea, not today.
But you look, bruh, thank you for accepting the assignment, because this was so powerful. And you know, I pray that y'all heard some tonight. It was a lot that Cedric spoke about, that Jeremiah, you know, and even us as the women, what we look for, you know, and y'all broke that thing down as far as what I felt, you know, when I met her. This is what she did for me, you know, and these are the things that women look for, you know, vulnerability, you know, sensitivity. We look for that, stability.
Security. And when I say security, like knowing that I can fall asleep at night and he's going to protect me.
That is. You
know?
For me. Yeah. These are things that we look for and that we can appreciate. Vision, you know, this is where we're going. Head to lead, you know, and I love that. You want me to submit, but what am I submitting to? You have nothing for me to submit to. Don't expect me to submit.
Right.
Man.
So come with it. Come with it. What you bringing? You know, for us to walk together and move together. So part 2 is coming. Praise the Lord. But we love y'all, sis. Any last minute comments, bruh?
I have nothing. I think we done laid it all out there. Yes. We don't wait for part 2.
Yeah.
Part 2.
Hey, this was great. This was good.
Yeah.
Hey, I came fresh off the street, so sis, that's that love for you.
That's right. And you know I love you, bro. I love you.
I know you do. I appreciate you. I appreciate you extending the invite to my wife to me, because she's like, babe, you want to be on the podcast now? Like, I ain't gonna get home in time.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Hey, you made it, bro, just in time.
Yeah, so God meant it was meant for me to be here.
Absolutely. Yep. I'm trying to tell you. So wisdom and nuggets to help somebody else. But sis, I'm full, baby. You full?
You full. I'm full, baby. I'm over here like I'm a proud wife. Look, I'm a proud wife right now, honey.
I'm a proud sis. Yeah. But look, we love y'all. We love y'all, and thank y'all for remaining. because we know we went longer than an hour, but we're not going to just cut it off if God is doing something.
Right.
And he was doing something. He was that these are things that people need to hear.
Right.
To help somebody, and that we needed to hear to help us. Remember, for better or for worse, submit, compromise, collaboration, individualization, expand, reduce, allow discovery, respect one another, and vulnerability.
There you go.
We're going to close it with that.
You said a lot.
Yep. But that's what we closing it with.
That's what we closing with, but we love y'all.
Y'all know what we say.
Until next time.
Peace.
Peace.